Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us on our webinar, the first one after the Easter break. And tonight we have Paul Bessell with us, who's going to talk about using video on the internet for promoting your services. We've got Nick Ibbott joining us as well. Nick's attending one of the first workshops that were presented, that Paul's presenting about video making. So if you've got any questions, fire away in the usual manner. We have the questions box on the right-hand side of the GoToWebinar control panel. We're recording this as well, so we'll be able to put these on the internet at some point. And Paul's just disappeared again. That's not good. And we will be handing over to Paul to get things going on there. So while Paul just comes back on and gets himself sorted back out, Nick, what's the reason that you're going to attend the first workshop?
My view is I think this is a media that I haven't looked into before, and I think a lot more younger people, well, younger than me anyway, that's not difficult, use YouTube and a lot of other media like this to look for things, and I think it's a good way of promoting and showing yourself. So, like the old saying says, it pays to advertise. So I have had a clip done with Paul. He's done a promotional video for me through David Paul, actually. So when he comes back online, we'll have a chat about those things that he's doing. But just to say, I know you might mention it at some point, Ed, that the workshop's going to be in Milton Keynes on the 20th of June. And tickets are available in the usual way through Radio NJC.
Yeah, we're going to have a slide. We're going to have a slide at the end with the information on that you can, the web link to go to the website and book through there, or there's going to be the telephone number on the last slide of the show as well. So we'll have that up at the end.
Paul's come back.
All back.
Paul's back up again. It's lovely.
Well, my humble apologies, people. The internet connection, for some reason I'm not aware of, just keeps falling down. And I don't think it's a problem with me. I think it's a problem with our local internet. Can you believe it? At this particular moment. Hang on, just one second.
I have students that look at bits and pieces. I don't know whether you did, Ed, or any of our listeners have pupils that look for things on particularly YouTube, how to do a reverse, how to do a park. I do say to them, be careful, because there's about 1,000 different ways to do a parallel park, and different ideas of backing around a corner. They're not all necessarily good ones, but then you've got to filter through. And whatever we've coached them in doing, then they can pick out what bits of coaching that we've been understand, and what bits they see on YouTube which are good or necessarily not so good.
Yeah, I think it's a very useful tool, and there's more and more in-car cameras about now where people are getting the facilities that they're going to be able to do some of this editing and what have you. So while Paul's on, what we'll do is we'll let Paul get cracking with this. If Paul drops out again, I think what we'll do is we'll just improvise for a little bit while Paul gets back online.
As normal, Ed.
Yeah. We'll work through it, Paul. Yeah. So over to you, Paul.
Okay. Well, I'm unlikely to know if I've gone off air once I've started the presentation. You can always interrupt me.
And it sounds like he has already.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can. You paused for a moment, but I thought you were just holding your breath, Paul, but obviously it's froze.
It may have been holding my breath. So if my internet connection goes down, somebody may have to phone me to tell me, because I'll be sitting here talking to myself otherwise. So if you can hear me, okay, I'll get going. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Paul Bessell. I've been kindly asked by ADINJC to give a very brief webinar this evening about ADI success with video. Just before we start, as far as questions are concerned, I'm very happy to be interrupted with questions as we go along, and I think the idea is that Ed will tell me if anybody asks a question. You may have noticed I'm a bloke, so therefore multitasking I do tend to find difficult from time to time, which is why Ed will take the questions and interrupt me at the appropriate moment. So if I don't answer straight away, it's not because I'm ignoring you. If you find this evening that there are other questions that you want to ask, or there's something you think about after this webinar, by all means feel free to email me at info@drivinghelp.com, and I'll do my best to answer any questions that you may have. Right, we'll just start with a little bit about me. I'm not going to bore you with me. My name is Paul Bessell. I've been an ADI for about 17 years. And I've got about 20 years experience in creating video of one form or another. It started with many years experience in the entertainment industry in various forms. And then after I became an ADI about 5 years ago, I created a company which actually makes videos for ADIs and driving schools. So we've put a fair bit of work into this. So the first question really is, why has ADINJC decided that it's important to have a webinar about video for ADIs? Well, it's really simple. What it's all about is YouTube. I think probably most of you will know by now that YouTube is the second biggest search engine on the internet. And by second biggest search engine, we don't just mean people going in there and searching for videos of animals falling over each other or music videos or whatever, although that's a huge part of it. People now use YouTube for many other reasons. A lot of people use it in the same way that the rest of us use Google itself. In other words, you think, oh, I want to buy this, or I want to buy that, or whatever, and they go onto YouTube and they search for it. Now, I'm not going to bore you with statistics this evening.
You've gone down, Paul.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go on, carry on now.
Yeah, we can again now. You were going to bore us with statistics and then you didn't. And I was waiting with bated breath.
The last thing I would want to do is bore you with statistics, trust me. But basically, the important part to grasp is that whether we like it or not, in just the same way that we want to be on the same page as the front page of Google when it comes to being searched in our local area as a driving school or driving instructor, so now we need to be up at the top of YouTube. And to do that, we need to have professional, well-produced videos. So what do people go and look for on YouTube other than the usual entertainment? They look for information. So, for example...
You've gone again.
Yeah.
Change a plug or something like that. Or with regard to us, people will go on there and look for a video about reversing at a corner or anything related to learning to drive. They go in there and look for reviews. So if they're looking for a driving school, for example, they will go in there and look and see if anybody else has used a particular driving school to see what the reviews are. And they will go in there as well now to specifically buy goods and services. So if they want a driving instructor, or if they want to buy a new telly or whatever, they go into YouTube, they search whatever it is they're looking for, and they will look for videos, because basically they can't be bothered to read about it. And it's just easier to watch a video than it is to have to read. So when it comes to us and how we can use YouTube, there are two ways really. We can use it for direct marketing, that is to say we can make short, brief videos which literally sell your business. So a 1-minute video, in just the same way that there's an advertisement on television. Here I am, I'm Joe Blogg's driving school, I do this, I do that, these are my prices, book me. Or you can do it in a more subtle way by putting up information videos, and you know there are up 10 million information videos for driving schools. They're showing reversing around a corner or turning in the road or whatever, most of them being extremely amateurish, but they are a very, very good way of connecting with your potential customers. They can see you, they can understand what you're all about, and they're more likely to, if you do your video in the right way, with the right sales on it, with the right links, it's an excellent way to sell your business. And of course, not forgetting your own website. Again, I don't want to bore you with statistics, so I won't. You can look it up for yourself. But we all know that basically people don't read more than about 100 words on a web page. They often go in and look at a web page for half a second and then go out again. The attention span of people going into websites is very, very low. But they love a video. If you have a video about yourself on your home page, statistics show people are much more likely to watch it, and they're much more likely to watch the whole thing. So don't take my word for it. The Guardian, for example, online video quickly becoming a key means for people to satisfy the information needs. Small businesses that fail to include it in their internet marketing strategies will do so at their peril. Well,
does that include BHS?
Does that include what? Sorry?
Does that include BHS, British Home Stores?
Well, they're not a small company. That's a whole different story. We're looking at ourselves as small independent companies, and that's. But BHS could certainly have done with a marketing strategy. I think that's for sure. But I think marketing strategy is kind of a huge expression, really. And what it means for driving schools or individual driving instructors is usually a website. We know how we market ourselves. We market ourselves through our website, and we market ourselves through word of mouth. So the point is, what I'm trying to get at is when I talk to driving instructors about their videos and what they want to say and so forth, the thing that constantly comes back to me is they say to me, what can I say that's different to other ADIs? How can I sell myself differently? We can only say so much. We can only say we're patient, we're friendly, we like taking pupils who've had difficulty passing. There are only so many things you can do. So nowadays, and this is a really important part to grasp, it's not what we say, it's how we say it that separates us from other driving schools in our area, that puts us one step ahead of our competition. And that's where video now comes into it. It's how we're saying it in a lively, quick form that particularly youngsters can grasp. In other words, I hate to use a cliche, but it is true at the moment, video is king. So hang on while I just take a sip of water. But I know what people are thinking, and that is, how much is the video going to cost? And they're not necessarily cheap, and the way to go about it is to look at, there are several different ways of creating your video. You can hire a professional production company, and we'll come back to that in a second. You can use a company like mine, and yes, I'm going to plug myself unashamedly for a second. What we do is we use a template for a video, and then we overlay the driving school's details over that, so that we're not having to reshoot the video all the time. So we can do it for a fraction of the cost of a professional production company, which makes bespoke videos. You can use online scribe software, which is where I think you know what I mean when I explain that a hand is shown sort of doing a really sort of super fast drawing of whatever it is the voiceover is talking about. or you can create videos yourself, and that sounds a really scary thing, but it doesn't have to be at all. But let's just briefly look at the choices that you have, and let's just for a second. If you hire a professional company, just looking at the costs for a minute, a professional company is going to make a bespoke video. They're going to have to come out for at least a day. We're talking about a 1 to a 1.5 minute promotion video here, not information videos about reversing or roundabouts or whatever, which are much longer. A professional company will charge you in the region of somewhere between £2,000 and £3,000 for your video plus music rights. I'm not going to go into too much about music rights at the moment, but it's important to make sure you have the right to use any piece of music, otherwise you'll find yourself being jumped upon by the copyright holder. And again, bear in mind, you get what you pay for. So, you know, you can pay £1,000 for a professional video, and you will get a video that is nowhere near as good as one that you pay £5,000 for. But that's the kind of region that you're looking at. We make promotion videos from about £99, so there's a fair amount of difference. I'll answer questions about that. If people want to know more about that aspect, you can email me at info@drivinghelp.com, and I'll be very happy to help you. I'm not going to dwell on it now.
Can I just say, Paul, that you've done one for my company, and we did it through David Poole.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Well,
it's extremely good, and as you say, you sort of do the voiceover. You got the video clip, and yeah, it's very good.
Thank you. Well, David and I are working together at the moment on creating a new website. So when I've got that, I'll let ADINJC know the details, and you can come and have a look. By all means, feel free. Thank you very much for that. Looking at online scribe, you can do that by you can do that online, basically. You can buy online scribe software, but it's cheaper to do it online, and you can by subscription. So at about £18 a month, I've found one. It's best to Google if that's the way you want to go. Online scribe software, and you'll find several companies that offer it. And I don't want to put it down. The problem with scribe promo videos is, one, they're looking a bit old hat now, and secondly, it's difficult to put your own car in there, and it's difficult to get your own sort of logo. It's quite tricky to do to make it look entertaining, but it is a budget way of doing it. There's no doubt about it, and worth considering. And then yourself. Well, it's free. It depends how you value your own time. It's free after sunk costs, and at the risk of sounding like a boring accountant, a sunk cost is, I'm sure most of you know, is once you've paid for something. So, for example, once you've bought a camera, that's a cost that you have to bear. But as you're making more videos down the line, each time you make another video, you don't have to buy another camera. So that is a sunk cost. That's gone. And from that point on, when you're making your videos, you haven't got any further costs other than your own time. But valuing your own time is important. Are you better off actually being out on the road and paying somebody else to make your video for you? That's something that only you can decide. Plus music again. Music, I've put it on there because it's a cost. It doesn't have to cost a great deal. There are websites, again, you can search copyright-free music. And you'll find all sorts of websites that you basically buy a piece of music, and then it's royalty free. You don't have to pay any more royalties on it. Sorry, not copyright free, royalty free.
That's just broken up again. Oh, it's back on, Paul.
Am I back?
Yep.
Yeah. So let's just take a quick look at technical knowledge, because this is what frightens most people about making their own videos. Do you know, you'd be amazed how little technical knowledge you've got. I mean, I've been making videos for countless years, quite successfully, and actually from a technical standpoint I'm not really interested. You know, there are all sorts of people who know all sorts of wonderful things about cameras and how they work. I just look at it from the creative standpoint, and you don't need to know an awful lot. Can you operate a simple camera? Something like
the answer is no, you can't.
No.
Face back.
if
You have to show us that camera again.
Right. Well, that's a camcorder, and all you have to do is open it and point it in the right direction and press the button. It really is as simple as that. Watch you video, of course, is crucial, and I again will come on to that in a second. Can you operate a computer? I assume the answer to that is yes, because you're here listening to me, you poor things. Really, you know, what can I say? Yes, you can operate a computer. Can you read and understand basic instructions? Well, you learned how to use your computer. You're here talking to me, so we have to work on the basis that you can read and understand basic instructions. If you can do all those things, making videos is actually great fun. And you know, once people start to get into it and understand how the editing works and how quickly you can do it, they really start to enjoy it, apart from it doing good for their business. So let's just have a look at the equipment that you would need for a second in a little bit more detail. Well, we've already discussed the camera then, haven't we? You can use something like this, so long as it's HD. When you're uploading to YouTube these days, it needs to be HD because the competition will be HD. You can use GoPro, something like that. They're brilliant to use because I've got well, I've got a bit of gear here which looks expensive, but it isn't. It's about 30 quid, which attaches to the car on the outside or the inside. You put the GoPro onto it, and you can get fantastic shots. For very, very little money. I mean, you know, they're as good as your creative brain is, these shots are. Or you can use your dash cam. If you have a dash cam, you can certainly use that, although obviously that's limited to just moving forwards, and you want to have shots either looking at yourself or looking at your pupil or whatever. Don't underestimate this. This is just one example of a piece of sound equipment, and I know for a lot of you that's going to, oh my God, we'll give this a miss then. But don't. It's not as horrific as it looks, but it is the difference between a video looking amateurish and a video looking professional. Because when you're recording sound on one of these, you get all the ambient sound around. So if somebody's talking to camera with traffic around, you get all the traffic and everything as well. If you use
that, it cuts out the sound. That's clever, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
You use a hairy mic and bipod.
Well, that's just a cover.
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you. If you were to buy this new, it's quite expensive. By expensive, I think it's about 250 quid these days. But you can get them second hand on eBay. And this exact model, probably for about £50, and it's worth every single penny that you pay for it. So even if you're not even if you're just planning to make videos, you know, not to sell your company or anything like that, just because you want to do it for your pupils or something, this makes a massive amount of difference, and makes you look professional at what you're doing. Finally, if you're going to do recording inside, and if you're one of these brave people who is happy to do to talk to camera, you'll need some lighting. I've got a small picture of some of my lighting on there. It looks like, well, I don't know, it may not to you. It's 30 quid. They make it in China. and it costs next to nothing to buy, but again, it makes a massive difference to the appearance of your video rather than using an overhead indoor light or something like that. Finally, software. Some people will be put off by this and other people won't, because it depends what you enjoy doing in life, really. Software costs anything from nothing to many hundreds, possibly even thousands of pounds. You're not going to want to spend thousands of pounds on it. The software that me and my company use is called Final Cut Pro 10, which is pretty expensive stuff, but then we use that because that's our business, so it obviously makes sense to do it. But you can get perfectly adequate software off the internet. You can download it onto your computer for nothing. I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing that because it's not the most... you'll find that after a while you'll be wanting to do things which your software won't do for you. Start with it, and then as you become more accomplished, you can move on to slightly more expensive software, but I'm talking about £30, £40, something like that. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Apple do iMovie, you know, that's more than adequate. If you've already got pre-installed software on your computer, and I suspect most of you probably have these days, it's going to be more than adequate for what you want to do. So, what next? If it depends which route you're deciding to go on. If you've decided that actually you want to pay somebody else to do it, then you can by all means get in touch with me, or just Google video production companies and start to do a bit of shopping around. And like I say, you're very welcome to contact me, and if you want any recommendations, or if you want to get my opinion on certain production companies or whatever, very happy to help you with that. If you decided that you want to have a look at at making your own movies, ADI and JC have asked me if I would do a one-day workshop called ADI Success with Video, at which we will go through the process. It literally just limited to 15 people, no more than that, so it's a very, very fun interactive day in which we actually go through the process of how to make a video and how to make the most of it on YouTube. The specific course goal is to achieve competence in creating and promoting professional-looking videos as a marketing tool. What do we go through? Well, I'll just briefly run through what the course content is. Basically, the overall thing is how to create and market professional video. We talk about what makes a good video. We'll play various examples of good and bad videos and just have a chat between us, with me guiding you to help you understand what is a good video and how that video you like has been made good. And once you understand, that's a big part of it, because once you understand that, then once you go away to make your own video, you know what it is you need to achieve in order to get what it is you want. We will have a look at how good and bad video impacts on your business. No video at all, because it can make you look awful. You know, if you go onto YouTube and look around, there are countless videos of instructors sort of looking into their camera or whatever inside their car, talking unscripted, rambling on. You lose interest with pupils in minutes. So we'll talk about. And you know what? I'll just give you a tip now. If you use your smartphone to make a video, hold it the right way. If you go into a cinema, you don't have a long, tall cinema screen. The cinema screen is that way. Don't hold your smartphone that way. Hold it that way, so that you get video the width of the screen. So I'll give you that tip straight away. On the course, we'll go through equipment, what you need in more detail. We've touched on it today. and the cost to you. We will then, because it's a small group of people, we can talk individually to a certain extent about creating your video specifically to what it is you want, and start to plan how you will make it, and most importantly, writing a script. The whole video must be built around a script. Now that sounds pretty daunting, but when I use the word script, we're not making a script for the BBC, or we're not scripting a West End play. We are just writing something that only we can see, so it can be written in gibberish so long as we understand it. It's just an outline of the video and what you want to say to it, because we need to understand how we work to a script, how we can then plan using that script to go and sort out our locations where we're going to film, so that we're not doubling up on ourselves and going to a location and realizing we've got to go back there again and all this sort of thing. The script is the actual core of what it is you're working on.
Paul, can I just say,
yeah, please.
On planning, would you do like they do in the films, where you'd do a storyboard, so you have planned out sections of what you would want to be taking video of, or shots of?
I would certainly recommend that. I would, and I will go through that on the course. But you know, it's your call. Some people find different people work in different ways. I'm extremely methodical, so I will do exactly what you say. First of all, I write an outline script. Then I start to plan to that script, and I write out all my locations, and I do a storyboard, and I work out exactly where I'm going to go and what shots I'm going to do at that location, you know, because you might have the same shots at that location at the beginning as you have at the end of the video, and all this kind of thing. Definitely I would. Some people don't like to work that way, but yes, I would recommend it. That's a good point. Towards the end of the day, we're going to, you don't have to do it as an individual, you don't have to do it if you don't want to, but we will try and encourage everybody to record their own voiceover. So when we've done the outline of their script and we know what people want to say in their video, we have a separate room reserved at the course, and you go into a separate room and record your own voiceover to which you will work your video once the course is finished. And I will give one-on-one advice and help on how to make a voiceover interesting and inflections to use on your voice and so forth. That may not be for everybody, but we will. If you don't want to do that yourself, we will then talk about ways you can get dynamic voiceovers done at a price which is reasonable. And then, of course, at the end of the day, we will sum up. And after the course, I will encourage everybody to go away and make their video, and then send me their completed video back for a free critique. I'll be very happy to look at it, so long as we haven't got months of looking at it. So I'll have a look at it once, and I'll show you if it needs any tweaking or any help with getting the finer points right. Preferably within a month of the end of the course, so that it doesn't sort of drag on forever. But I'm very happy to do a free critique afterwards. Will you need any equipment? You don't need to bring anything. You can bring your smartphone, which I've just shown you, if you want to, and we can certainly talk about how you can use your smartphone to make perfectly reasonable video. But all other equipment for the day is supplied. And the first of these workshops is on the 20th of June in Newport Pagnell. It's being held at it's not a hotel. It's a what's the word I'm looking for? But it's basically you can stay there as well. So I'm going to give you the price of the workshop, but if you want to stay overnight, you can stay there as well if you choose to. So the price for the day is £99 for AID NJC members, £119 for non-members, and that includes a working lunch. If you book within the next 24 hours and quote webinar, you'll get a 10% discount. Actually, I think it's a £10 discount, but considering it's £99, I think £10 and 10% works out more or less the same thing. In order to book that day, if you go to www.adinjctraining.uk, not .co.uk, but .uk, or you can telephone either of the numbers that are on the screen now, or you can find the ADI-NJC website just by Googling ADI-NJC, and you'll find the website easily. Hopefully that's helped you, and I'm now finished.
Very good.
Very good. Thank you very much, Paul. Two colleagues of mine, we do a podcast which Paul often comes on. I should say David Paul often comes on. I think he's come on there more than anybody else. So we would love to have you on, not necessarily our next podcast, but certainly very soon, because then you could go through some of this, and that would generate a bit more interest for people who are thinking of coming on the course, or the next course that we run. Yeah.
Very happy to.
Has anybody got any questions? If anybody has any questions, bring any up. Other than that, thank you very much for going through that, Paul, with everybody, and hope that's given them a bit of an idea of what the course and everything is about, and how useful videos could be for them in their business and promoting it. Yeah. Has anybody anything else to say? Nice short one tonight, just 40 minutes there. Nick, have you any questions?
Go ahead, Paul. You were going to say something?
Me? No. I was merely making a glib remark that people probably want to go and watch the football.
Right.
Oh, right. I was going to say, I think you're saying about going and doing a voiceover. If people haven't heard their own voices, it can be a bit daunting or being taken back slightly, I think, when they first hear it. I suppose I'm so used to doing dipod, I'm quite used to hearing my own voice and listening back to it, even though it is highly edited a lot of the time. But yeah, I know it can sound a bit strange to a lot of people. They feel a little bit anxious about doing that, or thinking, oh, do I really sound like that? Do you get that? Is that experience you have?
Absolutely. Do you know, at the end of the day, it all boils down to confidence, really. But I think this is one of the important things about getting an honest critique about things like that, because you don't want to have the doubt in your mind that people are telling you that you're great and something's wonderful when actually really it isn't. And it's important. It's an important thing to know. If it isn't working, somebody's got to actually tell you. Sorry, the phone's going. Somebody's got to actually tell you, haven't they? So what I do is work on it for a little bit while they're doing it, and then if I think they're not cut out for it, usually they know, but if they're not cut out for it, I'll find a very gentle way of saying so, and that actually, you know, there are places where you can get a voiceover done for £20 or something like that, which will probably be more suited. Some people just don't enjoy it, do they? They don't enjoy doing this. Some people absolutely love it. So, yes,
it's basically taking your time when you say it and not rushing it. It is very easy to rush what you want to say, isn't it?
It's partly time. Well, a huge amount of it is time, and a lot of it is inflection on your voice. And what I say to people, if I was going to give them one simple tip, which is maybe easier said than done, listen to yourself when you're talking to your friends. That's how you need to be talking on a voiceover. Because what happens is people start to record a voiceover and then they go monotone. Okay. So, and of course, if you're actually reading a script, it tends to become monotone. If you can, it's only a paragraph. Try and remember it rather than, oh, for goodness sake, try and remember it rather than reading it, because then when you remember and it comes from your head, you tend to put more natural inflection in. But you know, some people just can't, and that's the way. You just have to accept that if it's not for you, then we find another way to do it. You know.
And do we have to bring makeup kit to, you know, just to put some rouge on or something, or eyeliner?
You know what? It's funny you should say that. I was just looking at myself in the camera and thinking, "Oh my goodness me, I've gone bright red tonight." Well, actually, it's funny you should say that because sometimes when I do videos, yes, I do put a very light sort of so that you don't look too sweaty or something like that. But you don't need to bring it to the workshop. You're all right. Don't worry. Just a bit of lipstick.
Okay. And the other thing, of course, a lot of actors, they have all their teeth whitened, and
Yes.
because we get so used to it, it's very noticeable. So you don't want to be smiling too much if you've got bad teeth.
Absolutely. Well, you know, it's funny, but that's something else to get off. I think somebody's trying to get hold of me, but I'm going to. That's it. I think. What was the question again? Sorry, I was completely.
Teeth, and actors often have their teeth whitened, don't they? And you know, when they
Yes, so that's something else I was going to say was that actually appearance in your video is vital. You know, we sort of laugh about it a little bit, but the clothes you wear, for example, I know this is a massive bone of contention with a lot of ADIs about what they wear while they're working, for example. That's entirely up to them, but certainly when you're making a video, you need to be smart casual, definitely, not shorts and t-shirts and that kind of thing. So appearance is quite important, surprising.
Yep.
Excellent. Good. Well, with no questions. Sorry, Nick, what were you going to say then?
No, I was just asking if you had any comments or any points you wanted to raise.
No, I've no comments, and I'm going to be helping Paul out with some video shooting very shortly, actually. So I think it's going to be quite an interesting day when we do some shooting. We're looking at doing some stuff with the car and trailer, so I'm quite looking forward to that.
We did have a go up at Lynn's, didn't we, Ed?
Yes, we did.
We went out in the cars. Yeah. You and I went out and did a bit of filming.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know what happened to it. I think you deleted it.
I think yeah. It was that monotone. Yeah. We didn't have any makeup on either, Nick.
No, it's when we jumped at red traffic light, we decided we better not put it out.
Yeah. So,
incidentally, on the teeth thing, you know the software these days that you can use software to make your teeth look whiter. So if you have any physical imperfections that worry you can get the software. Yeah, believe it or not.
It's amazing what software will do now, isn't it? How it picks up facial recognition and what have you. Yeah. So there's no questions at all coming from. So we must have answered quite a lot of questions there, which is great. So I think what we'll do is we'll wrap that one up for tonight. And thank you very much. Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us on this webinar about video workshops. The next webinar will be coming up at end of June. It'll be the last Tuesday in June, which is the 28th of June, which is the next webinar. And I think, was that us, Nick? Was it me, you and James that were doing that next one?
James or Lynn, I don't know whether I'm going to be joining you. I can, right. But yeah.
Because Lynn was going to be away for a couple, wasn't she? I think it was a couple that she was away for. So, yeah, we'll watch out for the links coming through for the next webinars that are coming up very shortly. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. And we'll end that one.
Yep. Thank you for all the participants that were joining in and listening there. And hopefully you're going to come along, if you haven't already booked your place, to come along and see Paul in the flesh, so to speak. And I'll be there as well. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Right. Are they all gone?
Yeah. We'll stop it.
Moved us. What have you done to the other? I've changed positions.
Yeah, no, I've just taken the screen back so I can get this. How do I end this now? Oh, that's what we usually do, don't we? Go down there.
It looks like our listeners are gradually hitting their off buttons.
Just one
Yep.
more.
So,
There we go.
yep, there's just the three of them. That's it.
Just us three now.
Just
Okay.
us three, yeah. So, Ed, at one point there was 10 people. Then it dropped down to 9, then it dropped to 8, and then it went back to 9. What we don't probably know is when it went back from 8 up to 9, whether it was the same person or it was somebody else.
I was watching it. Larry Gerling was having problems. He kept dropping in and out, did Larry. We had Bill O'Hara. He joined us quite near the end, about 8:30. We had an extra one join us. So it looked like there was a big problem with the internet tonight because there was 2 or 3 of them that kept dropping off and becoming sort of static where they weren't being able to involve. So don't know whether there's one of these sunspots at the moment, because these sunspots can affect things like the internet, can't they?
Yeah, well, it's like the old days when you used to have CB radio and you'd have skip.
Yeah.
So it's the sort of thing.
So just tell me, how many do you usually get on your webinars? Hundreds or tens, or how does it usually work out?
I think we've had it up to about 32, 35.
Yeah.
Is the most we have on it.
Yes.
We've never touched 100.
Right. Okay. And so for 32, the maximum. What was that? What was that course, as a matter of interest? What was that webinar about? Do you remember?
I was hoping you weren't going to ask that, Paul, because I can't remember. You know what APIs are like. If there's something that's going to affect them, they want to know. If there's going to be changes, suddenly there's loads of people at your meeting. When everything's running along and they're making their money and they're all busy, they don't want to know.
Yeah. Right.
So I can't. Okay, well, I think it was something to do with the standards check, Ed, wasn't it?
It was a coaching one.
One of the earlier ones we did.
There was a coaching one. We got up to 40 something that Lynn and I did. That was one of the best attended. I think we hit about 45 on that one. So that one hit quite a good one. That was not the last one, but the one before that. So it'd be about February. Yeah. So that was our highest. We had, I think we had 60 people register and about 45 come on it. So it's the conversion rate that we look at for the amount. We had 22 people registered for this one, Paul. And we had half of them.
I'm just looking. We've got 4 attendees, so we've got somebody else. I don't know whether Lynn's joined us or who's coming extra.
Hang on. Just one.
I can only see 3.
Oh, yeah.
Showing 4 on mine.
We'll go.
Oh, yes, attendees 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
Somebody's attended really late. Unfortunately, the webinar has finished. We were just having a chat about the results on that. So, unfortunately, Yasmin, watch out for it coming onto the internet. It'll come onto the website when we get that sorted. So you'll be able to view this then at some point then, Yasmin. So what we'll do at the moment is we'll just cancel the webinar. It's all gone and finished. So thanks for attending. Catch up with us on the next one on the 28th of June. Thanks a lot. Bye. There we go.
Oh, so that was someone just logging on, was it?
Yeah, that was somebody logging on there. Yes.
All right. Oh
well.
So that's three quarters of an hour.
Let's hope we didn't say anything particular. That's all.
That's why I'm always watching those numbers in the corner so that we know who we're talking to. Okay. So, Paul, how did you feel that went?
I always, funnily enough, I'm a bit of a masochist. I always enjoy doing things like that. So, for me, it went okay. How did it feel to you?
It came across well, but unfortunately, we had a few moments where it froze.
Right.
And he did that, what would you say, Ed, 3 or 4
Yeah,
times,
about 4
maybe?
times.
4, yeah.
Yeah. A couple
Yeah.
of them,
It's
we
why
didn't
when
really
you showed
lose
the
much.
camera, I asked you to show it again because we didn't get any of that. So it was quite handy. But yeah, I mean, obviously Ed runs this all the time, so we're quite used to it freezing. I think one of the first ones we had terrible reception, didn't we, Ed?
We did.
We were getting a lot of bounce and feedback and everything, and a lot of echo. But he's managed to tweak all that out now, so it's good. It's a bit like you and your videos and your sound, and learning how to overcome certain obstacles that crop up. And I think a lot of people recognise that this media is it's not that high tech particularly.
No.
So the lap of the gods, as it were.
No, I enjoyed this sort of stuff. So I mean, for me it went all right, but it's for other people to judge really, and we'll see what sort of response we get from those who did it. I would say, by the way, that David, I think, is supposed to be doing a mail out on this in the next week or so.
All right, yeah,
Okay, yeah.
That's good, excellent. So nothing's gone out yet. It's going to go out very shortly, though.
Sorry?
Nothing's gone out as yet, Paul. It's going to be done in the next week. Did you say there?
Yeah. Dave, when I spoke to you last week, David's done one of his disappearing acts for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're on top of that in the next week. So because we need to get it sold out if we can. I'd rather not be doing it to 4 or 5 people. So we need to. I take it upon myself to give it a really good sort of push over the next week or so. All right.
We have pushed it on Dipod as well. So
yes.
I think I'm not sure when the next iPod's probably in about a week or so's time. So that again was within the time slot. So we'll push it again there.
I noticed when I went onto the training page, it's not on the list of workshops.
Okay.
It may just be me, but if I went onto the right page,
all right.
There's a page. There's a page which gives a list of upcoming workshops and seminars, and I couldn't see it on.
Yeah, I'll get James. I'll text James and see if he can have a look at that and see if it's there or should be there or how to put it on there if it's not there. Yeah, thanks for that, Paul.
All right. Okay, chaps.
Right.
Jolly good.
Brilliant. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you for your time, Paul. And as I say, we'll have to get you on Dipod so that we can promote. Whether we do it before the 20th of June or whether we do it straight after, because then there's some positive and good feedback having done the actual course and have people on it and get their feedback and what they think. We could do both. So because we're always promoting David's stuff. So
well, I think it is. It's a bit like teaching pupils, isn't it? Nothing works as well as a recommendation at the end of the day. So if a few people come along and then they recommend it, that'll be the way it works best. So that's fine. Okay, chaps.
Right.
Lovely.
Cheers.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ed. Thanks, Paul.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you very much indeed.
Just hit your camera button and we disappear.
Okay. All right.